Welcome to another one of my discussion style videos. And in these videos, I pick a topic, usually something that I've been thinking about, and we have a discussion. And if I've been thinking about it, then chances are a lot of y'all have thought about it. The topic is choosing to race or choosing not to race. Now, as I'm shooting this video, the COVID crisis is pretty strong and a lot of events are canceled, but they're going to come back. Fortunately, our mountain bike season looks like it's going to happen. And so, whether or not you're watching this now or later, I think it's going to be relevant. So choosing to race or not to race, this is something that I think about all the time because I feel like there are two sides of me. There's the side that just loves the exploration, the adventure side of cycling, and then there's the competitive nature that just loves training and preparing for a race and racing. And I call it the Rocky 3 principle. You can't watch Rocky 3 or any Rocky for that matter and not want to go out and train for something. And so I love working at a goal. I'm a goal-oriented person. And so that's one of the reasons that I race, is to have something to work towards. I think everybody who rides a bike should race at some point for a few reasons. One is it lets you experience a side of riding, of cycling, that you probably wouldn't experience. Putting a number on your bike or on your jersey and getting into a race is just going to give you a different perspective. Another benefit to racing is it simply improves your riding skill. If you are doing, and when I'm talking about racing, I'm talking about all kinds. I'm talking about enduro, downhill, cross country, road racing, cyclocross racing. It doesn't matter. It's whatever kind of you feel like you want to participate in. But no matter what your discipline, getting into a race and preparing for a race for that matter is going to improve your riding skill. I feel like my riding skills today are much better than they would have been had I chosen not to race. And I have put a number on my bike or on my jersey more times than I can even count. But doing that over the years, I think have really improved my riding skill. I mainly do cross country or cyclocross, and riding a cross country mountain bike race, you're trying to pick the very best line. You're trying to corner as fast as you can, get over a root section or a rock section as fast as you can. When you're in that situation, whether you're practicing or racing, it just simply improves your riding. Now, I mentioned competition, and I just want to say here that racing should always be fun. Chances are most of you watching this video, including myself, are not going to make a professional living out of racing a bicycle. Like I said, I'm competitive, and it should be a fun and friendly competition. If you're the kind of person you want to get into racing or you race just to try to prove that you're better than everybody else, do us a favor and just take a break, reevaluate your goals, and do it for the fun of it. It's okay to want to be competitive. I love standing on the top of the podium. There's nothing like it. But it should be a rewarding experience. Again, something that you've worked up towards and you've accomplished a goal. Now, I'd mentioned the adventure side of cycling, and this is what I go through is, do I want to focus this season on racing? I love getting out and exploring on a bicycle. Like I said, I've put a number on my bike more times than I can count, but nothing compares to just exploring, either doing a trip to somewhere that I've never been to, going to the mountains for a trip, even trails that I've ridden before, just getting out on those days where you can just take the whole day, ride, explore. There's nothing like that. So there's the adventure side of riding, and it is nice to be in a season where you don't have to work towards a goal. So like I said, I switch back and forth. Being in that place where you can just get out and ride, no plan, no structure, is also something that you really need to have. So even if you race a lot, you need those parts of the year where you're not having to really focus on a goal. It's more free-form type riding. Now, last year I had worked up towards the cyclocross season in the fall, and after the first race weekend, I came home and just said I needed a break. And so I want to talk about the opportunity cost of racing, and that's what I went through. So when you race, you pretty much take up your whole weekend. And after that race weekend, I just said I needed a break from traveling. It wasn't the racing, it was everything around it. It was the preparation on Friday night, the Saturday, getting back on Sunday afternoon, basically taking up a whole weekend. So there is an opportunity cost to racing. I just said I want my Saturdays to be where I do my long ride in the morning, whether it's a long mountain bike ride or a long gravel ride, get home by 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then have the rest of the day to either hang out with the family, do chores, and again, not having to give up a whole weekend. So that's one reason why I like the unstructured season of riding is it's not, everything's not focused on that one race weekend. Another example that kind of points that out is my event that I did in France 2 years ago. Was the Marmot Alps, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. The travel, the actual event was just breathtaking. The event did not go like I had planned because of jet lag, and that's a whole nother topic. I've made a video. I'll drop that in the description below. You know, I would love to go back over there and ride not on my own schedule, or not on someone else's schedule, but on my own schedule. That event started at 7 a.m., which was, you know, 6 hours ahead of what my body was used to from 48 hours before. So the whole jet lag thing just really messed up the ride for me. But I would love to go back, wake up whenever I feel like it, go ride whatever roads I want to ride. So, you know, even though the event was fun, getting out on my own schedule, not having structure, that would be fun too. Another kind of example that I think about comparing to racing is kayaking. So I love kayaking. I will never, most likely never race my kayak. I get out in my kayak just to explore, enjoy being outside, get some exercise, relax, go on my own schedule. You know, I know a lot of y'all who ride may have this mentality that you just don't want to race for that reason. You enjoy cycling just to get out. Now, I do think you should do some kind of event or a race at some point in your career of cycling. But there is, you know, just the pleasure of just being outside and getting exercise. Another downside for me for racing is the fact that most bike races are on Sundays. Sundays are our family day. We're all going in different directions during the week, even the weeknights. You know, we are doing different things, whether it's going to the BMX track or whatever. And so, you know, even Saturdays are real busy as a family. Some of us work on Saturdays. I'm working on videos. I'm riding long in the morning. Sundays is kind of one of those days where we've made a commitment where we're going to set the day aside just to spend time together as a family. And so when there's a race weekend, that's pretty much shot. You know, you're at the race, you're traveling. And so it does kind of do away with that family day. So again, that's another downside to racing, and just something that I go through when I think about, do I want to commit to this race season coming up? I do want to mention something that I consider kind of an alternative to racing, and that is an event. What do I mean by an event? Well, it could be a local gravel event. It could be a road century. You know, I've done events like up in the North Georgia mountains, the Six Gap Century, which is happening this year, I just found out. Other road centuries all over the country. Gravel events are becoming real popular. And these are fun because they're usually not a race. People make it a race, but it doesn't have to be. Your goal could just be completed. So to me, it's kind of an in-between free-form riding and committing to like a race season or a certain discipline. And that is, you just have the goal of preparing for this event. It could be the DK 200, the Dirty Kansas 200, or any similar type event, whether it's mountain biking, just to have something that you may do a couple times a year. So again, it's not committing to a whole season, but it's just something that you kind of have in the back of your mind. And that's nice because when you're riding, it gives a little bit more purpose to your riding. And so, you know, you may work a little bit harder knowing that you have this event that you're planning for. It's nice to have those seasons where you're structured, yeah, even if it's for an event. You may be on like a training plan to get ready for your first road century or your first metric gravel ride, metric gravel century. And so again, that's another alternative that you may want to think about if you don't want to do like a cyclocross race or a cross country race. These longer events that may not be as frequent, but again, it gives you something to work towards. So that will wrap up this discussion on bike racing. How about you? Do you race? Have you thought about it? What are your thoughts? What goes through your head? I'll kind of let you know what goes on in my head in terms of racing. And don't get me wrong, I love bike racing, and I'll probably keep doing it for a long time. But like last season, there's probably going to be seasons where I just say, time for a break. Time to just ride only for fun and exercise and being outside. So again, let me know in the comments below what goes through your head. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.